Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. I'm sorry. I'm out. Jey Uso received a heartbreaking message before making decision about Roman Reigns on WWE Raw. The rise and fall of family alliances, loyalty, and heartbreak has become the center of WWE's captivating storyline between Jey Uso and his cousin, Roman Reigns. Jey Uso, one of the longest-standing members of the Bloodline faction, recently found himself at a crossroads, torn between his loyalty to family and his desire for freedom from the oppression he feels under Reigns' leadership as the tribal chief. The emotional climax of Jey's journey reached new heights when, just before making his decision on WWE Raw, he received a message that would haunt him. "I'm sorry. I'm out." This message, from a mysterious sender, had a profound effect on Jey. It was the final push that forced him to confront the complicated relationship he shares with his family and the pain of choosing between love and liberation. Here's a look into Jey's emotional turmoil, what the message truly meant, and how this decision reshaped not only his fate, but the future of the Bloodline. Jey Uso's story within the Bloodline has been one of resilience and obedience, molded under the shadow of his cousin, Roman Reigns. Since Reigns embraced his role as the tribal chief, he's insisted that every member of the Bloodline serve his interests without question. For Jey, this meant suppressing his own dreams and needs for the sake of family. He stood beside Reigns through countless battles, defended his reign, and even turned against his own twin brother, Jimmy, at times to uphold the Bloodline's strength. But this loyalty came at a cost. Jey's character arc shifted from the loyal cousin to a man haunted by doubt and mistrust. Being part of the Bloodline turned into a psychological battle for Jey, as he began to question the very foundation of the faction he once believed in. Every betrayal, every order he was forced to carry out, weighed heavily on him. Roman's dominance overshadowed any love between them, and Jey began to feel the emotional strain of sacrificing his identity for Reigns' selfish ambitions. As months passed, Jey grew restless. He witnessed Roman's manipulative control over every family member and felt trapped. Even Jimmy, his own brother, couldn't sway him from his growing desire for independence. And yet, leaving meant challenging the powerful reign of Roman, a decision not to be taken lightly. For Jey, freedom from Reigns' hold seemed almost impossible until that message, "I'm sorry. I'm out," hit his phone and shattered his hesitations. So, who sent this message? Speculation has run rampant, with some believing it could have been Jimmy, Jey's twin, signaling his own doubts and a desire to leave the Bloodline. Others think it could have been a figure from Jey's past, a former ally who understood the pain of choosing between loyalty and freedom. The message's simplicity spoke volumes, highlighting the sentiment of someone who had once shared Jey's pain and struggle. If the message truly was from Jimmy, it could mean his brother had finally come to understand the impossibility of pleasing Roman. Jimmy's own internal conflict was evident. While he respected Roman as family, he also knew the agony his brother endured daily. But rather than persuading Jey to stay, this message seemed to signal that Jimmy could no longer justify his own presence in the Bloodline. Alternatively, some speculate the message may have come from someone outside the Bloodline entirely, a wrestler who empathized with Jey's predicament, or perhaps a member of the WWE Universe who watched Jey struggle with loyalty for years. No matter the source, the words struck a chord, encapsulating the frustration, fatigue, and pain of bending to someone else's will for too long. For Jey, those 4 words marked the tipping point. They voiced what he'd been feeling but hadn't dared to admit. He needed to break free. They validated his inner turmoil, giving him the courage to finally confront Roman and reclaim his independence. As Jey stepped into the ring on WWE Raw that night, the crowd sensed something monumental was about to happen. His expression was solemn, his movements slow, as if each step toward Roman Reigns weighed heavily on his soul. Roman, flanked by the ever-loyal Paul Heyman and the remaining Bloodline members, looked calm, almost smug, as if he knew he could manipulate Jey's decision. With the message, "I'm sorry. I'm out," still fresh in his mind, Jey squared up against Roman, who, in his typical tribal chief fashion, attempted to intimidate and belittle him, asserting control over the family dynamics once again. Reigns' disdain was evident. He expected Jey to fall back in line, to be the dutiful cousin who followed orders without question. But this time, Jey was different. There was a steely resolve in his eyes. He recounted the years of loyalty, of sacrifices made, of friendships broken, all for the sake of the bloodline. He looked at his family and laid bare the emotional turmoil he'd endured, conveying the pain that Roman's relentless drive for power had inflicted on them all. The crowd grew silent, feeling the weight of the moment. Jey didn't mince words as he spoke directly to Roman, refusing to play the game of intimidation. He reminded Roman that loyalty doesn't come from fear, but from respect, something he no longer felt toward his cousin. And then, with a voice that trembled with both conviction and sorrow, Jey echoed the words he'd received in that message. "I'm sorry. I'm out." The shock on Roman's face was evident. This was not the response he expected. To Roman, Jey's defection was not only a personal betrayal, but a challenge to his authority, a direct affront to the structure he'd built. Paul Heyman looked on in disbelief, and the remaining Bloodline members shifted uneasily, unsure where their loyalties should lie. The unbreakable family bond that Roman had so carefully cultivated now seemed fragile, teetering on the edge. For Jey, this decision marked the beginning of a new journey, one fraught with uncertainty, but also with the promise of self-discovery. He knew there would be repercussions for defying Roman, possibly even a physical confrontation in the coming weeks, but he had made peace with it. This was his moment of liberation, a declaration that he would no longer be defined by someone else's rules. The WWE Universe responded with an overwhelming show of support for Jey, chanting his name as he left the ring, leaving Roman and the Bloodline in stunned silence. Fans had long awaited this moment, and Jey's bravery resonated deeply. They had witnessed his struggles, watched him be torn apart by family loyalty, and now saw him rise as his own person, no longer tethered to the oppressive rule of Roman Reigns. Jey's departure has undoubtedly shaken the Bloodline to its core, raising questions about its future. Roman, though still the tribal chief, now faces an internal crisis. With Jey's departure, he's been publicly defied by a close family member, signaling to everyone that his control is not absolute. The Bloodline's strength has always depended on loyalty, but Jey's exit shows that Roman's unyielding rule may be driving his family away. Analysts and fans alike speculate about how this will affect Roman's grip on his family. Will others follow Jey's lead? Or will Roman retaliate, trying to bring Jey back in line through intimidation and punishment? The fractured Bloodline storyline has endless potential, with Jey's departure serving as a catalyst for future conflicts and confrontations within WWE. As Jey walked out that night on Raw, he symbolized the power of reclaiming one's autonomy. His journey has been one of loyalty tested, identity shattered, and courage found. And for Roman Reigns, it's a harsh reminder that respect cannot be forced, a realization that could redefine the Bloodline forever.